You know, we did some research quite recently and have produced a guide. And one of the things in that guide says that nearly a third of businesses don't do anything at all about potential cash flow problems and just hope that it's going to carry on as normal. About 40% will do something, perhaps do one thing, maybe cut the costs, and that's all. And there's only about 1 in 5 of businesses who actually put a plan together to manage cash flow problems that they have with more than one thing they may do. So managing their stock or paying their, getting money from their debtors faster, cutting their costs, things like that. It's so important that you put your plan together as soon as you can see a problem coming. Well, the 3 things I always think we should look at when we're looking at cash flow is getting your money in. So this is making sure that your debtors pay you on time. If they're not paying you on time or they can't quite afford it, well, then go and do a deal with them. So get some money coming in. So that's the first thing. Stay close to your customers. Do the credit reviews on those customers and make sure that when money's due, that it comes in. That's the first thing. The second thing to do is watch your costs. And when we say watch your costs, that's watch your staff costs, watch any extra costs that are going through that needn't go through. Classically, things like mobile phone bills, even as small as that. Just watch those costs and see how you can cut those back. And then the third thing is watch your stock. So manage your stock. Don't be carrying more stock than you have to carry. Make sure that stock is turning over and make sure you've not got all your cash tied up and stuff sitting on shelves. So they're the 3 things that I would say look at very, very carefully. Well, there are various companies that you can go to check credit histories of companies. Companies like Experian is one of them, but there are various companies out there who will do a very simple credit check for you and give you an idea of whether the people that you're wanting to deal with are good as far as their own credit standing is concerned, or whether they've had county court judgments against them and things like that. But you know, even more important than checking the credit quality is making sure you collect the cash when it's due, because many businesses won't pay you unless you chase them. So get out there and chase them. Well, you should be firm. You know, if you've got a 30 days credit period that you allow, if this gets to 31 or 32 days and it's not been paid, then there's no harm at all putting a phone call in to say, just making sure you got the bill because now it's overdue. And sometimes they may say honestly, well, actually, we haven't got the bill, we'll now process it. Otherwise, they'll say, oh, yes, it's in the system, it's on the way to you. And that's fine, so leave it another couple of days and then chase again. And after about 10 or 15 days, you should be getting much harder, saying that, you know, your bill is now overdue, you need the cash, and you require that money to come in. There may be various things you can do. If you're continuing doing business with that firm, you may stop doing that. Now, you'll have to think carefully about that, because that impacts your turnover. But it may be that you want to say, look, I can't send you any more stock until you've made some payments to me. And it may be that you're prepared to take some payment rather than everything that's due to you. But make sure you've got that dialogue going and make sure that that customer knows that actually you'll chase them. Because if you're chasing them and another company's not, you're the one they'll pay. The first indicator that something is going wrong is normally your debtors aren't paying you. So one of the key metrics that I look at is year on year on year, month on month on month, what are the average debtor days that I have? So how long does it normally take my debtors to pay me? And normally you'll find that's 30 or 40 days or something like that. And that'll be consistent for quite a long period of time. If that suddenly slips to 50 days or 60 days, you have a problem. And that's normally the first indicator that something's going on with your cash flow. The second thing you'd find is your sales are going down. Now, what businesses normally focus on is the fact their sales are going down before they work out that people that owe them money aren't paying them quite so quickly. So watch that debtor days very carefully, because if your debtor days slip, then you will be short of cash, your money is not coming through to the extent that you need it. Well, some people do this, and what often you hear is the word overtrading. And what's always very, very tempting for many businesses is if you're selling well, just go and sell more and more and more and more. And what happens is there's a tendency for you to run out of cash. So you're selling so much, you've got so much stock in your warehouse or in your shop, but you're not getting the money in from the people that you sell the goods to fast enough to be able to pay your suppliers as well. So you have to be very careful not to overtrade. So if you have a product that's selling well, yeah, sure, go and make the most of that whilst it is selling well, but make very, very sure that you also have the cash flow in place to be able to fund that increased level of turnover. And that's when it's really worth sitting down with the accountant or with the bank and going through your equation, going through your numbers to make sure that you have got enough cash flow there to fund that increased level of trading.